Have you been told you need to stop doing what you love, whether it's exercise, running, or a sport? Well, here at Dynamic, we don't like that answer. In this podcast, we'll talk to leaders in the health and wellness space from Southwest Florida to get the solutions you need to get you back to doing what you love. Welcome to the Dynamic Naples Podcast. Here we go, episode 0. So my name is Dr. Chris Ellis. I'm a physical therapist, owner of Dynamic Physio. I just want to tell my background story of how I got into physical therapy because I think it will give some relevance to sort of my personal biases and my approach. So in my 20s, way before I was a physical therapist, I was working a construction job in San Francisco, Pacific Heights specifically, and I was doing trim work around an elevator. So this was a $13 million home. They're installing an elevator. There's no elevator yet, just an open shaft. Right? So somehow I managed to fall into the elevator shaft. Now I was on the 4th floor, so I fell all 4 stories. The only reason I'm alive is because, two things really. I fell through a piece of plywood that was laid across the 2nd floor. That slowed my fall. And I have, I've been playing hockey my entire life, so I've got what we call up north, we call it a hockey butt. So I had, something soft and squishy to land on, I guess. But I did manage to fracture my pelvis, my lumbar vertebrae L1, and my left wrist. So let me back up a bit. So I had always heard that if you go through some trauma, like your nervous system shuts down, and you don't really have any pain. Not true. So as soon as I hit the ground, I let out this groan. I couldn't even control it. It was like it went on for like a minute, and then I was experiencing some retrograde amnesia, like partially. So I knew I was in California. I didn't know my address or what city. I knew I had a girlfriend. I didn't know her name. Luckily, that only lasted about 3 hours or so. And one of the worst parts was actually being in the gurney in the ambulance, and just because we were in San Francisco, going up and down those like extreme hills, my body just sliding around. I got these fractures sitting there, and just, oh God, it was so painful. So I get to the hospital, San Francisco General. Nurses tell me that when they saw the report coming in, they expected me to be dead on arrival. So they do basically a full body X-ray, or I don't even remember, it was probably an MRI back then. And they told me I fractured just my pelvis, but I was lucky in the sense that it was non-load bearing, the spot that I broke. And I was pointing to my wrist saying, this thing is swollen up like a whale. I'm pretty sure I broke this too. And they're like, nope, that's not broken. So they gave me some Vicodin and sent me out on a cane, or it was like a wheelchair, I think, like a borrowed wheelchair, and gave me a cane. And with no instructions. So I just sat in my apartment, on Vicodin for about a month, and it was just miserable. I was just gaining weight, getting stiff, getting painful. The pain was it would be like an hour every morning just to get out of bed. And I quickly fell into depression. So after, a month of that, I said, skip this. I got rid of the Vicodin, and I flew home to where my parents lived, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and stayed there for a while and kind of just sat there for another month just in misery. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to go see my family physician. So I told him the story, showed him the images, and told him that I think I broke my wrist. He took new images. Oh, well, actually, he reviewed those images first. He said, yeah, you're right, you did break your wrist, but you also fractured L1. So then he took new images, and I just got lucky that everything healed normally. So I never had a cast or surgery or anything. So at that point, I decided to go into physical therapy. So I went through about 8 months, I would say, altogether, transitioning from physical therapy to actually working with a trainer. I came into that office, I saw myself just like overweight, depressed, in a ton of pain. Function was just horrible. I couldn't really get out of bed. And then about 8 months later, I had no pain. I was in the best shape of my life. I had an 8-pack. I felt amazing. And I just thought that therapist, what a cool feeling that must be to see me come in this way and leave, like, not only just resolving pain, but like my life is back. And I was like, this is what I need to do. So that's how I discovered physical therapy. So I bring all this up because, clearly we have some flaws in our system. Everyone knows that, right? So I don't want to waste time talking about that. But I think that it's very important for people to feel empowered and know that humans are resilient. Unless you sort of buy into some narrative that we're broken or fragile. Here I am in my 40s. A few years ago I was powerlifting. I was deadlifting 395, and I play hockey twice a week. Done jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. And I've been told like I shouldn't be doing this stuff like years ago. So again, I just think humans are resilient, and movement cures all. Well, most everything actually. So this is sort of my goal. My dream is to push this message along because how easy would it have been for me to just sit there and collect workers' comp? I was basically living at my parents' house for free, and I had a prescription for opioids. I could have easily just gotten addicted to opioids, just continue to get overweight, and continue to just fall through the cracks of our system. And that's clearly not the right way to go. And I see it constantly. I see people falling through the cracks, and it's something that needs to change. I believe in physical therapy first. Obviously, there's instances like when my buddy Micah got into a motorcycle accident with a degloving injury. Obviously, he needs to go to the hospital first and have surgery. But I think more often than not, it should be for musculoskeletal pain, physical therapy, and then surgery's last-ditch effort. All too often, we see just the opposite. Someone goes and gets an image, has pain, gets an image, has surgery, and then we see them after the fact. And I just think we'd be catching people way earlier if we were doing physical therapy first. So enough about me. That's my story. So I'm going to be seeking to find practitioners in this area to connect with that are like-minded and bring answers to everyone so they can make better decisions and sort of manage their health better. So that's it for today. That's episode 0. Stay tuned next week. We'll have our first interview. Do you have unexplained pain? Or do you wonder just how healthy you are? When was the last time you had your blood tested? Blood chemistry analysis is a great way to stay ahead of any health conditions, and now you can have control of your health with Let's Get Checked. Let's Get Checked is an incredible company that sends blood tests to your home. You can choose from over 30 different tests, whether that's liver function, testosterone, micronutrient, cholesterol, or C-reactive protein, which is a marker for inflammation. It's sent to you with free shipping, and you get results in 2 to 5 days, no physician referral needed. Use the code DPT20 for 20% off. Go to letsgetchecked.com and use the code DPT20. Did you know that you can get started with physical therapy without a physician's referral? Physical therapists don't just solve pain, we get down to the root cause and keep it from coming back. We also discuss all things health, such as nutrition and lifestyle changes. If you feel that you could use some help, let's get on a free consult call. Go to www.dynamicnaples.com and sign up for a free call. Also, if you like this podcast, please give us a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps us spread the message. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.